Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
Blue flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Shots do that.
I don't want to sit too hard.
That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Bobby.
Because there was no Jay White side.
Okay, just straight up gangbanging.
This story has been fit. You gotta pay that attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly.
Let's start the show.
Straight up gangbanging? I gotta go find that episode, y'all. Welcome back to Unpop Review Entertainment. And we are talking today, people, do the right thing. And just like that intro, there's love and there's hate. And I hate that intro, but it's okay because we're talking Spike Lee joint, 40 Acres and a Mule Productions, do the right thing. We'll be right back, y'all.
You the man. No, you the man. No, you the man. No, you the man.
Fight the power. Fight the power.
You know, deep down inside, I think you wish you were black.
Who told you to step on my sneakers? Who told you to walk on my side of the block? Who told you to be in my neighborhood? I own this brownstone. Who told you to buy a brownstone on my block, in my neighborhood, on my side of the street?
Doctor,
Come on, what?
always do the right thing.
That's it?
That's it.
I got it. I'm gone.
Again, people, welcome back to Unpop Reviews Entertainment Movie Month. And today we are going to talk about a very controversial 1989 film called Do the Right Thing. Sal is an Italian owner of a pizzeria in Brooklyn neighborhood. Local neighborhood knucklehead Buggin Out, played by Giancarlo Esposito, becomes upset with seeing in the pizza place nothing but Italians on the wall in this black neighborhood. And in turn, this sparks one hell of a debate and a conversation that we're going to discuss with you today as well. But as always, you already know, people, I'm not here alone. I am here with my crew. And that crew today will be no other than Vic Damone Jr., the executive consultant. What's going on, fellas? Let's talk do the right thing. How you fellas doing today?
Pretty good. What's going on?
I am fine. What is this music playing in the background? I'm just curious.
It is Lift Every Voice and Sing, which was the opening of this movie. Do the Right Thing, Spike Lee. First time I've ever seen this movie.
Me too.
And
Flag. It wasn't the opening song of the song. Was Fight the Power. Fight the power. That was the entire. They played the entire song. While my girl Rosie Perez just danced the whole time.
Or they were playing Fight the Power. They were playing the jazz.
I don't know what version you have. Maybe about 4 seconds. That counts.
When one of us are talking about our stuff, we'll look it up on the side, and you'll find out. Look up the intro to Do the Right Thing, but you'll see that voice is right. But the bottom line is, you like Fight the Power. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of that song. Right? I'm
not surprised.
It doesn't hit me.
I'm not surprised. You wasn't. You know, even though you were, I think you were born.
I was alive. Yes, definitely alive.
Okay. You have. If you don't know the impact of Public Enemy and why that song was chosen for this,
right. So it's not about impact, right? See, here's the thing, right? Because I'm always about the thing. Just because I can understand the impact of a song, it's always a thing.
It's always a thing.
Shout out to Vic. He didn't say anything, but. Just because
you see what I was saying before. No, you see
one of us. I'm inspired.
That's an ill slip.
I am inspired.
Inspired.
Okay. Anyway, like I said, just because something has some kind of cultural impact, and I understand the significance of it, does not mean that I have to enjoy it from a personal aspect. Right? Fight the Power. I understand what the lyrics behind it and the meaning behind it, but the song does not do it for me. I'm not really going to drive down the street or come home from work and try to relax and unwind. And
Well, it's not that kind of song. It's not. It's not a song to party to. It's a message.
Exactly. But what am I? Right?
I don't know what that means. What am I? You're still a black man in America.
You're missing
so
my point.
like Kanye West. No, you're missing the whole point of the song. No matter what happens,
25
years later, you're still a Negro in a poop.
My life is not transcended by my race, right?
That's the problem with America. Me. That's the problem with Black America.
It's bullshit. It's nothing to do.
That's
with
not bullshit.
It's
how come?
It is Chris. I'm sorry. At the same day.
Let me ask you a question, Chris. Let me ask you a question.
I'm still Chris.
Are you a black man?
Well, that's the most ridiculous question you could possibly ask me. Everybody knows I'm African American. I'm a proud African American. But just because I'm a proud African American does not necessarily mean that I need to fight the power.
I didn't say you need to like it. No,
that's the way you're presenting it. That's the way you're presenting it. Just because Vic is Hispanic doesn't mean that he has to automatically like Despacito, right? It's just
he automatically loves the LWO.
I lost argument.
What are you talking about, Willis? Okay.
That was a good
All I'm saying is
I got no response for that.
No, but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. What you're saying is that my blackness doesn't have to be representative of my feelings.
Correct. My blackness is the fact that I am a black person.
And I 100% get that, right? But you're talking to probably one of the most militant people on this network.
Correct.
I would think I'm second to Vic Damonji over here, okay? All I'm saying is that it's not a song to say we party to or we dance to, right? It's to have you pay attention, right? I always use the words the gospel according to Kanye West, right? Because like I said, we were talking over each other. No matter how old you are, and this movie came out in 1989. We're talking about it now in 2024. And as you guys just said, this is your first time watching this film. Those things are still happening today. Stevie Wonder had a song, right? One little Christmas tree, right? You know that song comes out on Christmas time? That was in 1965. And we're still fighting those same struggles today. So excuse me if it does sort of kind of bother me when black men can't identify the fact. You don't have to like the song or party to the song. Hell, what I found out later on about Elvis Presley in this song is completely wrong. Elvis Presley was a friend to the Negro. So all I'm saying is I need black men in this movie that is completely about the message to get the message. And when you're watching these Spike Lee movies, when you're watching these things, they're entertaining, but they're actually factual. It's the same thing that I don't know, like back in the day, no one really got on Spike Lee for his depiction, right, of Black America as they get on someone, let's say, like Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry makes a movie, it's starring Medea, and all men want to see is, oh, he's dressing like a woman. But if you sit down and stop being homophobic and watch the films, you see that every single one of Tyler Perry films has a message in it. And they're completely centered around Black culture, Black families, and Black America. And I think this movie demonstrates all of that. Vic, you can speak on a little bit.
They can get kind of preachy though.
Like, they can. They do. I'm not denying that.
I mean, especially the plays. This is too much singing, man. Like
I never watched, and that's in all fairness, which made him famous was the plays. I've never watched a single Medea play because at that time I was a little bit homophobic. At that time, I wasn't ready to accept that in my life. Now the world has taught us how to be more mature, and God is love. Rev run, right? So we love everybody. But let me ask you this. I'm gonna start with you, Vic. Being a native New Yorker, which by the way, we got to do Son of Sam. I realized something with your movies. You always pick some New York based kind of movie. Okay. But then I picked this movie that's based upon New York. You're Dominican, you're a New Yorker, right? Mm-hmm. How do you relate to this? When you said this was your first time watching Do the Right Thing, which shocks me when I hear that from you because this movie is so New York, right? Your takes on this movie having all the okay, speak on it. I wouldn't know.
I mean, it shows a time where Italians dominated a neighborhood, and then all of a sudden, all of their neighbors started to leave, and then there's one business that stuck around. That happened in the neighborhood that I grew up in. Like, you know, it was a situation where all the Italians left because the Spics ran them away, right? So that's one of the things that ended up happening here. So, you know, what was interesting about it is just that, like, it was a situation where, you know, you you're expressing your culture and you have every right to do so and express the people that you care about, but then at the same time, none of those people are coming back to your business. Like, I'll give you an example. There's an Italian hairdresser that's in my mother's neighborhood.
Okay.
Nobody that lives in the neighborhood uses her. She has a whole bunch of people coming in from Long Island to come get their hair done, and just because she's in the old neighborhood. There's a restaurant called there's a restaurant called the Parkside right across the street from Spaghetti Park. The Spaghetti Park we used to be where all the mafia guys hung out. That's not there anymore. It's not even called Spaghetti Park anymore. You know what I mean? And so my point in saying that is just that, like, look, if you want to control the representation of the neighborhood, live in the motherfucking neighborhood. Don't run away from the neighborhood just because new people started coming in. Like, this kind of conflict would have never happened if Sal wasn't the only one, right? So Sal's kids were being made fun of because of where their stuff was, but I bet you a couple of decades before, that's where all their families were living. And so, you know, this whole situation it pretty much just highlights how you can try to mix people together as much as you can, but at some point there's going to be certain differences, and everybody wants to be represented. And so, since everybody wants to be represented, in the end, what ends up happening is that you just show how much people don't give a fuck about each other. Like, and what pissed me off was at the end when Spike Lee and the guy, I mean, after the whole riot, and Spike Lee just shows up, and then they just start throwing money at each other, you know, because it never mattered how much of a relationship they really had. At the end of the day, the only thing that mattered is what's exploitable here. And that's the spirit of this country. Is the only thing, and as a Dominican, I know very well that when it comes to us, Americans only value what it is that we can provide, as far as, and that could be a level of translation, that could be some food, or if there's some women involved, there can be some pussy, right? Rosie Perez is a very perfect example of that. Why? Because look, Spike Lee would basically just say whatever it is that he had to say in order to get in those panties after having a kid. So after dealing with the mother that was pretty much complaining, like, look, the guy, you know, unfortunately, and I hate to say this, when it comes to our women, a lot of times it's just, a piece of ass, right? So, you know, he sold her a dream, blah, 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 and who knows how it is that she feels, but she's sitting there stuck with a kid and all of that, because at the end of the day, the only thing that matters is what we can be used for.
Well, we don't know if he sold her a dream or not, though. And fairness
no,
to the
I mean,
film,
no, you
we
know
don't know
why?
that. You're going beyond
here's
the
why.
film.
No, here's why I'm saying that, because every single thing that she was saying, he always had a response. He had a response for everything. He always knew exactly what to say. You know what I mean? But the thing is just that if somebody said something to him, he wouldn't sit back and even think about it, wouldn't empathize, wouldn't any of those things. Everybody was like that in that era. Everybody just had something real quick to say in order to get over or to get whatever it is that they need. The problem that I see here is that there's only a sense of community when it comes to representation, not legislation, not anything as far as community organizing or any of those things. The only thing that matters is just what's being represented, and that's it. And that's the sad part, because the thing is just that, like, you know, you're running a business, you're trying to build a business, and then you're trying to build a business inside of a neighborhood and then still express your own culture, right? The best thing that Sal should have done is that he should have started putting up some of the pictures of the patrons that have been going to his business. Like for example, and the Asians are real good at doing this. You go buy something over there, they'll take a Polaroid of you and then put it up. They used to do that with the cell phones. You know what I mean? And then a whole bunch of people will come back, and then if they needed anything else, they would see their picture there and blah, blah, blah. That's exactly what Sal should have done, and he never would have had this problem, right? But, you know, he wanted to stick to his culture and his people, and he wanted to just represent Italians. All right, but then feed the Italian.
Look, I get all that, But I mean, in this world we're living in, it's about this movie. So I get all that, but this is, I don't know if that's true or not about what was said to him and what he said to her. But you're right. Those were the times. Dudes would say anything they could do to get the punani. So, but with that,
I mean, no, he had a kid with her. He had a kid with her, and then was still treating her the same. That's the thing. That was my whole point.
Do you think he
At
went
the end
home?
of the day, and you know what the
Did
other
he
thing
go
he
home
said?
in the movie?
And here's
Did
the
he
other
go
thing
home?
that he said. Here's the other thing that he said.
He got back in bed.
No. It's bad enough that the kid's name is Hector. That's what he said. That is what he said.
I know
You
that
know
hit
why?
home for
You want
you.
to know why? You know
I know
why
you
it's
were
bad
pissed.
enough? Because we don't fucking matter. That's why. That's why.
I don't think it's
That's
bad.
why. No, that is
Listen,
what it
I'm
is.
watching. I'm
Here's the thing,
rewatching
you
Game
watch
of
an
Thrones
episode-
or House of Dragons. He said my son's name is Joffrey. Says, "I'm not gonna say in this." That's like me saying I name my son, Sebastian. Certain names don't go with certain cultures. I'm a black man in America. Why's my son named Hector? And as a father, with all due respect towards the women out there who give birth to children, I should better name my son. It's my son.
Okay. But if you
With
don't
your
take care of him,
permission, anyway.
if you're not taking care of him, if you're not housing him, if you're not doing any of those things, if all you're doing is coming over, getting some ass, having a kid, and then still coming over just to get some ass and not putting any money on the table and not doing anything, basically not taking on your responsibility, but
As
then
a man.
No, but then you want to take on the lineage. You want to take on you want a kid to take on your last name, your first name, and all of the things, and not even take the time to give him any of your.
That's what bum ass men have been doing for bum ass many years. And that
That's
is
right.
a problem. 100% that's a
That's
problem.
Right. That's right. You know why? Because that bum ass man was taught that, all
was
you gotta
taught?
do, all you gotta
wasn't
do.
taught that.
Of course he was taught that.
No, he wasn't. Society, that's the problem in America. Society doesn't teach you anything. You teach yourself something.
Everything. You know why? Because here's the thing: people behave the way that other people behave. Nobody knows about what poison ivy looks like because they haven't felt it in a long time. Nobody knows what a motherfucking mulberry is because they didn't buy it in the goddamn.
I'm sorry. Is that on the other side? Is that a mulberry?
Yes, this is a
in your
mulberry.
background. Okay,
Yes,
I thought you was in Sherwood Forest. I had no idea.
No. Nobody knows what a motherfucking mulberry is because they don't buy it in the goddamn stores.
I don't know what the fuck a mulberry is either.
Of course not, because you're
fuck's
not
a
buying it
mulberry?
in the store.
They only buy watermelon and chicken.
You know why?
No,
You know why?
He
You
is
wanna know
rude.
why? Because you can't see the forest for the trees, my man. You got a whole. You have like 10 different types of pine down there. You have a whole bunch of different types of coconut trees. You have all kinds of things down there that you can just climb up and get. You got mango trees all over the place.
I just prefer oranges over mangoes, sir.
Okay, but here's the truth. Sometimes it's good to know who the hell is giving you air. My point in
He
saying
always
all
says
of that, my point in saying that is just that there's a lot of nuance in this world. And in this country, unfortunately, everything is over and super generalized. Hence the iPhone. Okay.
You know what?
You need to
agree
generalize
with
the
over.
hell.
I agree with over. You know what else is over? This part of the conversation because
All
I
right.
really have not said anything about this movie.
No, but this that's another overgeneralization.
That's not an over. That's a realization. And any man who governs his shoes enough that if someone walks past me and scuff up my sneakers, but more importantly, you scuff up my Jordans and I'm in New York and you're going to come walk on me with a Larry Bird jersey, we got a problem. Who told you to buy a brownstone in my neighborhood? Chris, go ahead and speak on this movie.
And that's another thing. Why am I supposed to give a fuck? If I got the money, why do I have to care about it being your neighborhood?
That's about that part. Okay, I thought about my sneakers.
That's the truth.
That part. You're right.
But that's another one. If I'm from a different culture,
the buying the neighborhood is one thing, but my sneakers is a whole other thing.
That's another thing because if I'm from a different culture, if I don't know anything about that culture, about sneaker culture, if I
it's just common courtesy to say excuse me.
I agree.
And he didn't say excuse me.
That part I agree. Right, but how am I supposed to know if I'm not part of your culture that me dirtying your sneakers is
he's wearing a Larry Bird jersey and he lives in New York. You should know the culture.
Well, he lives
basketball. We're talking about 1989, right? Which means this movie was written in 1987, 88.
Wait, when was
the NBA was all black? Okay, majority all black. So you should know. You should know that in New York, okay, the birthplace of the greatest of all time, If you step on my Jordans, we have a problem. And then you scuffed up my Jordans. Again, executive consultant, you haven't said a damn word about do the right thing. Can you do the right thing?
Here's the thing. You're absolutely right, right? But how many white people have ever been involved in something like that?
Well, he just got. Well, he just.
And this is the first one. It just happened, right? So he didn't know.
Look at he about to find the hell out.
That's right. This is how he finds out.
Not only just knock me down, you step on my brand new white Air Jordans that I just bought. And that's all you can say is, excuse me. Are you serious? Yeah, I'm serious. I'll fuck you up quick 2 times.
Fuck you up quick. Go ahead, Chris. Speak on this movie, man.
I have concerns. And I want to express my concerns.
I have concerns.
I have concerns. I have concerns because I've never seen this movie. I've heard so many things about this movie. I really wasn't this interested in seeing this movie because I've heard so many things about this movie. So let me take it out, right? Besides the fact that I was forced because I was picked.
It's a powerful movie.
Yeah, and I powerfully was pissed off. And let me explain to you why I was pissed off. Because I look at it and I'm like, why in the world are they upset? Why in the world is that neighborhood upset? Why in the world is that neighborhood full of bullies? I felt for the Italians. I did. I felt like they were done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
As he goes up there to visit Dice. I am a man who believes in justice. And I don't feel like justice was served properly in this movie.
I mean, it really depends what you're talking about, though, because
let's talk about a few of the things.
Because here's the thing: the Dudder man didn't have to get killed.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. Issue concern number 1. Hear me out. Sal has a shop. It's an Italian shop.
Mm-hmm.
The dude says, "Hey, can we get some black men on the wall?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? He says, "These are the people I look up to." Like, that's pretty much what he was saying. It's a shop. That's it. Leave it alone. That's how I feel. Because I will also say this. This is the hypocrisy of our democracy, right? If it was a black man in a black shop, we would put up black people most of the time. That's what we do. Yeah. Unless, how would we feel if an Italian person came out and said, "Hey, could you put up an Italian?" No, it's my culture. I want to represent my black people. He wants to do that, and that's
let him finish.
Wait a minute.
Let him finish. Big. Let him finish.
No. Speak on it.
No, because I want you to finish.
I'm asking legitimate concerns. It's always the thing. Tell me do the right thing.
What if? Right? Okay. Okay. So, see, the problem is that black people aren't monolithic, so there's not one thing that black people do.
Speak on it, Vic.
There's not one speaking. I love it. There's not one thing that black people eat, right? But if there was, okay, fine. Say it was a black man with a pasta shop, and nothing but Italians came in.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then the black man had a bunch of black people up, and then the Italian came in. Hey, can we put up Frank Sinatra?
Mm-hmm.
Because my whole thing here with this is just that all of the patrons were black. If it was a mix, like a mixed group of people that came to the pizzeria, the thing is just that all of these black people were putting money in this white man's pocket. And he had no problem taking their money, but he certainly had a problem representing them. The way that like I said from the beginning, the way he could have fixed that problem is putting pictures up of his customers, or even putting pictures up. You know who he could have put a picture up of?
The mayor.
No, that black girl that he was trying to fuck.
Mookie's sister.
Mookie's sister.
You have a point there.
He could have put her because not his.
That's a good compromise, but that wasn't the point of this movie, and that's also not the point of what I'm saying.
I think
that's a good compromise.
No,
I like that.
100%, Chris. Mm-hmm. That was the point. You say that wasn't the point of the movie? This isn't an opinion. That is 100% the reason why that altercation started. Is what Vic said. It's a black.
No.
It's 100% black neighborhood. With it
Doesn't
I'm
matter
sorry,
if it's a black neighborhood.
It's a
or not, because the
90%
bottom line
black
is those
neighborhood.
black patrons,
Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point, please.
I wasn't finished my point. Those
Okay.
black patrons, right, are frequenting an Italian restaurant. That is their choice, right? When they walked in there, they saw that an Italian restaurant that serves Italian food.
No, just pizza.
Had doesn't matter. Italian food, even though you're right, it had Italian pictures. That is a choice that you chose to make by going to an Italian place. If I go to an African American place that sells soul food, I expect to see black people. Whether black people on the wall, whether I am in a white neighborhood, a Hispanic neighborhood, or an Asian neighborhood. That's just what the culture is. When I'm in a Chinese restaurant, 9 times out of 10, guess who I see on the wall?
Nobody.
Chinese people.
No, you don't.
You're right, but it's Chinese people, right? In the back, it's Chinese people. I'm just saying, for the sake of the movie, it wasn't going to work with what I suggested. You know, that is a great compromise, man. Have pictures of your patrons. That's a great compromise. Have pictures of the woman you may or may not have been trying to get her pants up, right?
No,
that's
but
a good
what I
compromise.
loved about that scene is just that, like, look, it just like I was saying about Rosie Perez earlier, like, you know, we're good when there's some pussy involved, right? And it goes both ways. You know what I mean? Did you notice how nice Sal was when this guy's sister showed up?
Yeah, because he wanted something.
But he wasn't mean to Mookie, for all fairness, and he wasn't mean to the whole
He
neighborhood
never was
either.
mean to
Mookie. He was only intolerant to Bugging Out because Bugging Out was Bugging Out. And Bugging Out does not represent everybody in the culture either.
But here's the truth, though. Like
two.
he because he understands that some of those things are bad for business.
Let me bring up.
He has a very good understanding of business sense. So a lot of his behavior was, you know.
Let me bring up number 2.
Money.
Try to let Vic get this point out because he was really like, I'm gonna give my point out, motherfucker. I got you. Right? So let me bring up number 2. Number 2. This is gonna be controversial. I don't care because I'm Chris.
The first one was controversial, so it's you.
That's fine. Let's keep it going. Radio Man, or where the hell his name is?
Radio Raheem, get it right.
Whatever.
The Dutter Man.
The Gutter Man. The Stutter Man.
Fight the power.
He rest in peace. Had
Even in
no business.
He's passed away.
Going into that business playing music. Don't care what anybody says. Don't care.
100% true. 100% true.
And Sal was actually nice the first time. Hey, could you turn that music down? I'm only saying that because
I can't fucking hear myself think.
As a place, I've had to have that conversation with plenty of people, and they get upset. But hey, you know what? You have no business doing that. Not inside of a place.
Not inside the establishment, no.
Right. So that was number 2. I had a concern with. Right. Number 3.
Because that wasn't controversial. That was facts.
Right. Some people might be like, oh, but he died. Okay, whatever. Right. Number 3. The only thing that I actually liked about the movie, but I have a concern because I don't understand why I liked it. This old guy.
The mayor?
Hero. Oh, the mayor. Okay. This old guy and this old woman, sister.
First of all, just give me 1 second before you go, and it's not gonna be long before you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's pay respect to Ruby D, Ozzie Davis, and Robin Harris, and the stars of this movie and the greats of this movie. Speaking about Ruby D and Ozzie Davis, go right ahead. Sorry, they are pillars in the black community. They are pillars in the urban movie scene, and they will forever, as we say on our wrestling shows, there should be no slander for Ruby D and Ozzie Davis on this program. Go right ahead with your soliloquy about the movie.
If I had to, I would, but I don't. In this movie, like I have nothing to say because I thought they were the warm part of the movie, right? Even though he annoyed me sometimes because he could have acted older and blacker, but that's fine, right?
He was a bum on the street. Have you been around bums?
He played every bit of a bum, of course. Work in a budget motel. I've been around bums, so I felt like a second time I said
those are Orlando bums. That's different than hood bums.
I've seen New York. So that being said, right?
Hood bums got research.
Yeah, I knew it. I was waiting.
You better not
I was
compare
waiting
to
for
those fucking
I was waiting for it.
cornfield smoking.
You brought it up. As soon as you said New York, you know that was coming. Let this man finish his points. We get on with this damn movie.
The last one, the fourth
Recognize-
one. This is gonna be the longest episode we've had of UPR in a while. But the
In
last one,
history.
the fourth one, right? The scene I was just talking about with the sneakers. Dude had no business coming to do like that. Yeah, that one. He had no business. This guy was actually the biggest dick in this movie, right?
Buggin Out was the antagonizer in this
And
film.
he definitely antagonized. Look, even him. This dude with the bike. He said, "Excuse me." I'm sure he didn't.
No, he didn't say excuse me.
He
didn't say he didn't say excuse me until he came up on him.
Okay, well,
then he said excuse me.
Well, then he said, "Excuse me." Let it go at this point, right? There's no point to continue, and this is why we have issues today because we need to learn to let shit go. Look at him. Look at him. Don't pause there. Pause with his eyes.
I didn't pause my thing. It's about to do.
Rewind a little bit. Yeah, look at him. Pause it. Look at that bitch. Look at him.
I'm sorry, Giancarlo Esposito. I don't think anybody's ever called him the B word. But go ahead.
Well, you know what?
We're talking about Bugging Out, not that person.
You know what I got?
Like a little
Go ahead.
Listen, all I'm saying into this film, and I think, and this is beautiful, honest with you. We got two black men thinking differently ways. We have a New York Dominican here as well. So we give you all different views of this movie and how this movie, like I said today, still reigns in what we're talking about. Listen, we're gonna take a break. We're gonna be right back, y'all. Finish up with this movie and wrap it up. Give our thumbs up, thumbs down overall about what we think about Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing.
This is the frightening and shocking tale of Count Dracula. Leslie Nielsen, Peter McNichol, Steven Weber, Amy Yazbek, Lizette Anthony, Harvey Korman, and Mel Brooks.
If she dies, a victim of this unspeakable creature, she will become one herself. What? She will become one herself.
Dracula, dead and loving it.
The son of Sam Killer, who has been targeting young women, has caused panic-stricken brunettes to dye their hair blonde.
I feel like I'm cheating on you with you. Anyone is a target.
I think he's after me. I'm gonna be number 8.
And I'd lay 5-1 to kill us from right here. And everyone is a suspect.
Welcome back, everybody, to Unpop Review Entertainment. We are talking Do the Right Thing, and like that movie in 1989, it's a lot of controversy still surrounding this movie. You got three men of color here still discussing it, still with different perspectives and analogies about this movie and what it stood for. That just shows you how good this movie really was. So without further ado, I'll tell you right here, right now, for me, it's a Spike Lee joint. It's not many Spike Lee joints I think were bad films. This is one I would actually give a thumbs up to. I would give it multiple thumbs up to because I saw this movie in the movie theater. Okay, as a youth. Okay, this is before my high school years started in 1990. My father took me to go see this film, as he took me to go see Public Enemy when they first came out. True story. First concert ever was LL Cool J and Bobby Brown I Need Love tour, and Public Enemy, how that fit in there, opened up for them. Okay, never forget that as long as I live. And in this movie, Fight the Power, it's truly about being in an urban community. Okay. Having a lot of different personalities in this urban community. Nothing's funnier than the cast in this movie to me. And you go back to Robin Harris and Frankie Faison and those guys. They were the drunks. Paul Benjamin. They were the bums on the street, or not the bums, but the winos on the street, sitting there listening and to what's going on in the neighborhood. And this was truly about the tensions of a hot summer day. Okay, shout out to Mace Windu, Samuel L. Jackson's character in this movie, Mr. Senior, who was the radio DJ in there. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Get your wake up on. This movie to me just had so many different levels of New York involved in it, the culture involved in it, right or wrong or indifference. I think that you can't, it's like watching Marvel movie Civil War. They both are right, but what side are you still choosing from where you feel inside your spirit? And so, even though Buggin' Out had a lot of things wrong about him and how he went about it, Radio Raheem definitely was wrong coming in the store with the radio, but the message they portrayed was right. if you're going to be in a black neighborhood, you should have to have some respect for your patrons. Now, granted, there's the other side of the spectrum that says, hey, you don't have to eat here if you don't want to. Guess what? No one's eating there anymore because I built this with my bare hands. And now it's gone. All because of an altercation that if we could all just stop being a little bitch, could have probably been executed and done a different way. But it wasn't. It's just to show you truly how America was fucked up then, how it's still fucked up now. And we're still dealing with these kind of fucked up issues today. So for me, Spike Lee did his job and he gave us a wonderful film. Thumbs up for me in this movie. And those are my final words as well. I'm going to go with you last, Victim Own, because I get the verdict out right now from the executive consultant. So he don't have to make fun of nobody. Go ahead, executive consultant. Your take, Stubbs, on this movie.
I have concerns. And I express my concerns. Spike Lee directed a really good film, right? He acted very well with it. Good cast. Did I enjoy the movie, though? Let's find out.
Are you not entertained?
Gladiator, I didn't. Right? I did not enjoy this movie. I looked at the clock the entire time, hoping that my 2 hours and 6 minutes was going to go by a little bit quicker. I understand what this movie was trying to portray, but it's not the movie for me. And we know my criteria is, would I, did I, could I enjoy the movie? And I didn't. I never want to see it again. So that's my version of doing the right thing. So you it.
Well, there's a lot to say.
We said a lot.
Yeah. Because, all right, I had never seen this movie before, and it's been getting the hardcore praise my entire life. Now, it's a very good description of what New York was like when New York had neighborhoods. It's a very good description of that time, especially Radio Raheem, especially when he went to go visit the Koreans. But then it also depicts the unfortunate part of American culture where everybody just cares about how they feel. Like it's like you have a situation where people just value whatever affects them specifically and their group. And this movie highlights that very, very well. I don't know if that will ever change because we have this best for business type of mentality here where whatever's best for our social security number. And this movie highlights that very well. The other thing is how much like people use each other instead of build with each other. That's another thing that this movie highlights very well. And also, the Koreans are very interesting because
I'm black, but I'm black. So,
no, because the one thing that they express is that like you can see that there's still a little bit of a language barrier with them.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, they're pretty much just showing how, people, they're pretty much showing one thing that a lot of people do, right? They show up into a neighborhood, they see a business opportunity, and then they provide that, right? The problem that I have is that why is it that convenience shop owner, why is it that they're never black? The guy that sells the oranges and the fruits and the batteries and all of that, why is it that it's always somebody else? It's never an Italian, it's never black, never any of those things. One of the core, and mind you, even here, if now it's all the Habibis, right? It's never been somebody from the neighborhood that feeds the neighborhood. And this movie shows that very well, and I think that should change. But in order for you to want to feed the neighborhood, you got to care about the neighborhood. Unfortunately, American culture is a self-absorbed one, and this movie depicts that very well. Now, I know this movie is mainly about racial differences, but it really goes to show you the culture of this place. Like, you can have a melting pot, but then everybody's going to stay in their corner, which is the sad part, right? But then you have a situation where somebody is having a dispute and all of a sudden passes away, and it becomes way more serious. So how prevalent is that situation? Like,
he didn't pass away though. He was murdered though.
Yeah,
because of this indifference.
Yes.
The police gets called because of a disturbance at Sal's, and the police, which has been happening for years, we still dealing with it today in America, where Black Lives Matter came from. They could have easily just put him in there. They killed this man. They choked him out and they murdered him. This goes to like we just had last week, the 6-year-old kid, because he's a big kid, the police officers whooped his ass. You are taught as police officers, we know this now in America, that you can use force without it being deadly force. And that's right. And that's what heightened the situation. One, the fact that he was getting arrested. Hell, he should have probably, in all fairness, probably deserved to get arrested, right? He was disturbing the peace. He was asked to leave the restaurant. He didn't do it, right? But he deserved to die for it, and that's where the movie gets heightened in that force.
Of course not. I mean, we all know that he doesn't, but the funny thing about this is just that, like, this, I think, if somebody watching it now, would definitely start thinking about George Floyd. Right? Because it's just, once again, this whole situation happens again, right? Where there's a certain mentality that you can do certain things. Why? Because these people don't matter. These people are from this certain neighborhood. They don't matter. So it's easily going to get swept under the rug, and for him to put that out there was interesting, especially around this time, because mind you, it was Ronald Reagan passing the reins to George W. Bush. So it's the same thing. And the Reagan people, were very good at sweeping things under the rug. So fight the power. We got to fight the powers that be. You know what I mean? Because they putting things out there that's killing us. Because they don't value us. You know what I mean? If you want to ask anybody, ask a Puerto Rican. They definitely, they don't value us. Ask a Puerto Rican about Puerto Rican history, and you'll see how much they don't. You know what I mean? Puerto Ricans tried to shoot up Congress at one time. But anyway, I'm rambling too much because we got to do 2 other movies.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
It's thumbs up because it's, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And it could piss you off, but then it can make you think, But the thing I like about it the most is just how true to reality it was. That's pretty much what Brooklyn was.
And I think that's, for me, why, despite the differences that we've had here during this conversation, and a long one, by the way, on Unpopular Review Entertainment, but it's a conversation that, to me, can always go on. We can always learn from it. I may not understand Chris's opinions and views, but I have to be enough to respect it, right? I always say that when it comes to why I love Unpopular Review as a station. It's unpopular because we all have our different opinions and we don't all agree with each other, but we all supposed to be respectful of each other. And I think that's what we did here. At the end of the day, we still laugh, we still joked, and no one's leaving here saying, you know what, fuck Vic, I ain't working with Vic no more. Fuck Mike, I'm not fucking with Mike no more. It's a grown conversation for grown people, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. Do the right thing. Did you see it? Comment below, let us know. We are out of here, y'all. We'll see y'all next week with our next movie, or next Tuesday, or next Wednesday. Hell, we do something every day on Unpopular Review. So we check y'all out then, y'all. Peace.